The backyard glows under string lights, a chorus of kids chanting, "Happy birthday, Liam." Then her voice slices through the laughter. Madison raises her champagne glass. "I think it's time everyone knew. I'm leaving Mark." Gasps. The cake knife slips from my hand. Frosting smears across my wrist. My mother-in-law's face drains of color. Our son's candle still flickers. Madison's smile doesn't waver. I deserve more than a man who fixes car parts while I built our future. Everyone stares at me. My jaw tightens. I don't yell. Don't speak. Just stare at her like I'm memorizing every word. Because she has no idea what I already signed yesterday. The silence stretches. Kids stop laughing. Parents exchange nervous glances. My best friend Tom reaches for my shoulder, but I step away. Madison continues, her voice gaining confidence with each word. "I've already found an apartment. Eric from my office helped me secure it." Eric. Of course she mentions him. My son Liam tugs at my shirt. "Daddy, why is mommy talking like that?" I kneel down, forcing a smile. "Let's blow out your candles first, buddy." But inside, I'm counting down. 24 hours until she discovers what I've done. 24 hours until her perfect exit strategy crumbles. The cake sits untouched. The presents unopened. My son's 7th birthday, forever marked by his mother's cruelty. But she doesn't know. She doesn't know about the papers, the deal, the evidence. She just sealed her own fate in front of 40 witnesses. No one claps. Madison clears her throat, pretending confidence. "Anyway, let's cut the cake." I turn and walk away, quiet, calm, terrifyingly calm. Inside the kitchen, I breathe once, steadying myself. The weight of 12 years presses on my chest. I glance at the folder under the counter, still sealed, with signatures that change everything. I whisper to myself, "So it's done." Through the window, I watch her trying to salvage the moment. She's cutting the cake with shaking hands, her practiced smile cracking at the edges. People take their slices quietly, avoiding eye contact. My sister Rebecca follows me inside. "Mark, are you okay?" "Never better," I say, and I mean it. She doesn't understand yet. No one does. They see a man whose wife just humiliated him in front of everyone he loves. They don't see the man who spent 3 months preparing for exactly this moment. Madison wanted a public execution. She got one, just not the way she planned. I pour myself a glass of water, steady as stone. Rebecca watches me, confused by my calmness. "Shouldn't you be angry?" she asks. "Why?" "She just gave me the best birthday present I could ask for." "What do you mean?" I smile, the first real smile in months. She announced it publicly. 40 witnesses heard her abandon her family. That's going to matter. Rebecca's eyes widen as understanding dawns. Outside, Madison keeps pretending everything is normal. She has no idea that her grand announcement was exactly what my lawyer hoped for. My name is Mark Caldwell, 38, small business owner, husband, or I was until about 5 minutes ago. Madison and I built this house together. Every tile, every photo on the wall meant something once. But somewhere along the way, she stopped looking at me like her husband and started looking at me like her mistake. I run Caldwell Auto Supply, a parts distribution company I started in our garage 10 years ago. It's not glamorous work, but it's honest. My hands get dirty. My back aches. But every dollar I earned went to our family. Madison worked at Vestatech, a tech company downtown. Clean offices, fancy titles, expense accounts. She started as an analyst, climbed to senior management. With every promotion, the distance between us grew. "You smell like motor oil," she'd say, wrinkling her nose when I came home. "It's the smell of providing," I'd joke. She stopped laughing at some point. I can't remember when. Our house sits in Riverside Gardens, the neighborhood we stretch to afford. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a backyard big enough for Liam to play soccer. Madison picked the granite countertops. I installed them myself to save money. Everything here has our fingerprints on it. Or it used to. Now I see it differently. Every room holds a lie she told. Every corner witnesses a moment she was already planning her escape. But she made one mistake. She underestimated the mechanic. She forgot that someone who takes apart engines all day knows exactly how things work. And more importantly, how to make them stop working. It started subtly, Nights she'd work late, weekends suddenly booked. At first, I believed her. I wanted to. Then came the new perfume, the text she turned face down, the way she flinched when I asked simple questions. It wasn't paranoia, it was pattern recognition. The first red flag was small. She changed her phone password. Company security policy, she said. We'd shared passwords for 10 years. Then the gym membership she never used but paid for religiously. The receipts showed a location near her office, not the one by our house. Client dinners appeared on our credit card statements. Always for two. Always at intimate restaurants I'd suggested for our anniversaries, but she'd called too romantic. Her wardrobe shifted. Gone were the practical blazers, replaced by dresses that hugged differently, heels that clicked with new purpose. You look nice, I'd say. It's just wear clothes, Mark. Appearance matters in corporate. But she'd check her reflection twice before leaving. Apply lipstick in the car. Come home with it completely gone. I started noticing the gaps. Staff meetings that ran 3 hours. Conferences she couldn't quite explain. The way she'd shower immediately when she got home, even if she'd just been at the office. Her laptop became sacred territory. Her phone grew a protective case of excuses. You're being paranoid, she said when I asked why she was so secretive. Maybe I was. Or maybe I just knew my wife well enough to recognize when she was becoming someone else's. 3 months ago, she invited her boss, Eric, and his wife for dinner. Halfway through the meal, their inside jokes started sounding like memories. When she refilled his glass before mine, I knew. His wife's polite smile said it too. She knew. The dinner was Madison's idea. Networking, she called it. Eric's been mentoring me for the promotion. Eric Donovan, 45, divorced last year, drove a Tesla that screamed midlife crisis. He walked into our home like he'd been there before. Knew where the bathroom was without asking. His new wife, Sheila, seemed nice enough. Quiet. She picked at her food while Madison and Eric dominated the conversation. Remember that conference in Austin? Eric said, laughing, when we got locked out of the convention center. Madison giggled. Actually giggled. We had to have our meeting at that terrible taco place. Terrible? You said those were the best tacos you'd ever had. Well, the company was good. They shared a look that lasted too long. Sheila stared at her plate. I gripped my fork tighter. The stories continued. Late nights solving problems. Inside jokes about coworkers I'd never heard of. A casual mention of sharing an Uber to save the company money. When Madison stood to get dessert, she touched Eric's shoulder. Just a brush, but familiar. Comfortable. Sheila finally spoke. Mark, how long have you and Madison been married? 12 years. That's lovely, she said, but her eyes said something else. They said, I'm sorry. She thought she was being clever, using her work email for everything. But one night, she left her laptop open. Subject line, we shouldn't do this again, unless you really mean it. My stomach dropped. I didn't confront her. I just saved everything. Quietly. The laptop sat on the kitchen counter, screen glowing. She'd rushed upstairs to help Liam with a nightmare. I was bringing in groceries when I saw it. Her email was open. The sender, Eric Donovan. My hand shook as I read. Last night was incredible, but we need to be more careful. Sheila's getting suspicious. And Mark, do you think he knows? Madison's response below. Mark doesn't pay attention to anything but his garage. I could disappear for a week, and he'd only notice if his dinner wasn't ready. The thread went deeper. Dates matching her late meetings. Hotel confirmations. Pictures. I pulled out my phone, took photos of everything. Each email. Each receipt. Each lie documented in her own words. The company retreat next month, another email read. I booked us the suite with a balcony. Like you wanted. My chest felt hollow. 12 years. A son. A life built together. And she called me inattentive in the same emails where she planned her betrayal. I heard her footsteps on the stairs. Quickly, I closed the laptop, went back to unpacking groceries. Liam's back asleep, she said, yawning. I'm exhausted. Coming to bed. In a minute, I said, putting cans in the pantry. Just finishing up. She kissed my cheek. It felt like betrayal in reverse. That night, I lay beside her planning. The next morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. The man staring back wasn't broken. Just done. That's when I promised. I won't destroy her. I'll let her destroy herself. I studied my reflection. 38 years old. Gray creeping into my stubble. Lines around my eyes from squinting at engine parts. Hands rough from work. But my eyes were clear. Clearer than they'd been in months. Madison was already gone, rushing around the bedroom. Big presentation today, she said. Eric and I are pitching the Morrison account. Eric and I. Not the team. Not the department. Eric and I. Good luck, I said and meant it. She needed soon. I showered, dressed, made breakfast for Liam. Normal routine. Normal dad. But inside, something had shifted. At the garage, my employees noticed. You okay, boss? Asked Miguel, my senior mechanic. You seem different. Just seeing things clearly, I said. I called my lawyer that afternoon. Not the family friend who'd done our house closing. A real lawyer. The kind whose ads promise to protect what's yours. I need to protect my assets, I told him. And I need to document some things. Divorce, he asked. Eventually. But first, I need to be smart. He leaned back, studying me. Smart how? My wife's planning to leave. I can feel it. But she's waiting for something. I want to be ready when she makes her move. Then let's get started, he said. That night, I played with Liam, helped with homework, tucked him in. Madison worked late again. Eric's cologne would be on her clothes when she got home. But I wasn't angry anymore. I was prepared. I started collecting. Printouts, messages, receipts, every time she used company funds to cover their work trips. Every rule she bent. Every signature she forged for Eric. The file got thicker. So did my patience. The evidence came easier than expected. Madison got careless when she thought I wasn't watching. Credit card statements showed company card charges at restaurants on days she claimed to be in meetings. The metadata on her conference photos showed locations nowhere near the venues. But the real gold mine came from her home office. Expense reports with forged approvals. Eric's signature on documents he never saw. Company resources diverted to personal use. She'd approved a software purchase that traced back to their hotel room in Austin. Team building supplies that turned out to be wine and champagne. Client entertainment at a couple spa. I photographed everything. Uploaded it to 3 different cloud services. Sent copies to my lawyer. The violation of company policy was clear. But more than that, some of it was illegal. Fraud. Embezzlement on a small scale, but embezzlement nonetheless. Why are you working so much lately? Madison asked one evening, finding me at the computer. Just organizing receipts for taxes, I said. Want to make sure we get every deduction. She laughed. Always so thorough. It's cute. Cute. Like I was a child playing at business while she ran with the big kids. I smiled back. Just trying to protect what we've built. Of course, she said, but her eyes were already distant. Already with him. Each document I filed was another nail. She just didn't know she was building her own coffin. She started acting sweeter, cooking dinner, kissing my cheek. Guilt looked good on her. But when I said I might sell the business, her face changed. Not concern. Calculation. That's when I knew she planned to leave once she thought I had nothing left. The shift happened after I accidentally left a business valuation report on the counter. Low numbers. Market downer. Money to sell a loss. Suddenly, Madison became the wife I remembered. Home for dinner. Asking about my day. Suggesting date nights. I've been so focused on work, she said, stroking my arm. I forgot what really matters. But her eyes kept checking her phone. Her smile never reached them. One night, she made my favorite meal. Hot roast, garlic mashed potatoes, the works. Just wanted to do something nice, she said. Over dinner, I play my part. The business is struggling. Might have to let Miguel go. Maybe sell to that chain company. Oh, honey, she cooed. Maybe that's for the best. Less stress for you. There it was. The calculation. If I sold the business, she'd get half in the divorce. If I kept it, but it failed, she'd get nothing. You be okay with that? I asked. Me selling everything I built? Sometimes we have to let go to move forward, she said. The next morning, I heard her on the phone with someone. He's thinking of selling. No, for much less than we thought. Maybe wait a few months. Eric's voice was faint, but recognizable through the speaker. She was timing her exit for maximum gain, waiting for me to cash out so she could take half and run. But she didn't know the real valuation, or the offer I'd already received. Eric's biggest competitor, Carter Industries, had been eyeing my distribution routes for years. So I made a quiet visit. I told them I had documentation showing unethical behavior from their rivals' executives. They listened very carefully. The meeting was set for early morning before Madison woke up. Carter Industries occupied 3 floors of a gleaming downtown building. Everything Vestatech wished it was. "Mr. Caldwell," said Patricia Chun, their VP of Acquisitions. "We've been hoping to talk to you for years." I sat across from her and 2 other executives. The conference room smelled like leather and success. "I'm considering a partnership," I said, "but I have concerns about the business climate. Specifically, some unethical practices I've observed from Vestatech." Patricia leaned forward. "What kind of practices?" I slid a folder across the table. Just a sample, enough to show I had more. They read in silence. Expense fraud, forged signatures, misuse of company resources, all tied to Eric Donovan and Madison Caldwell. "This is significant," said one executive. "There's more," I said. "Much more. But need to know my business will be protected if I partner with you." Patricia smiled. "Mr. Caldwell, what exactly are you proposing?" "I sell you 51% of Caldwell Auto Supply. You get my distribution network, my contracts, my reputation. I stay on as a silent partner. And in exchange, fair market value. Plus, you handle this information however you see fit." After all, a company that tolerates this behavior at the executive level, well, it says something about their culture, doesn't it? The executives exchanged glances. Vestatech had been eating into Carter's market share for years. This was blood in the water. "We'll need to review everything," Patricia said, "but I think we can come to an arrangement." We shook hands. The mechanic had just played chess with the kings. I signed the contract. 51% of Caldwell Auto Supply sold to Carter Industries at triple its market value. Conditional on discretion and one small clause. I become a silent partner in their expansion. Translation: I'd never have to work under anyone again. The final negotiations took 3 days. Lawyers, accountants, advisors, all of them sworn to secrecy until I gave the word. "Triple market value is generous," my lawyer said, reviewing the terms. "They're not just buying routes," I explained. "They're buying intelligence and the chance to expand without competition." The clause I insisted on was simple. I maintained operational control for 6 months, allowing for smooth transition. Really, it meant Madison couldn't touch anything even if she tried. The payment structure was elegant. Lump sum for the sale, plus quarterly dividends from the partnership. Even at 51%, Carter Industries projected my annual income would double. "Sign here, here, and here," the lawyer instructed. Each signature felt like shedding weight. The business I'd built from nothing was now worth more than Madison ever imagined. And she'd get none of it. "When does the information about Vestatech become actionable?" Patricia asked delicately. "Soon," I said. "There's a natural timeline to these things." She nodded. They'd wait for my signal. After all, taking down a rival executive required proper timing. I drove home that evening feeling lighter than I had in years. Madison's car was gone. Another late night with Eric, no doubt. Liam was doing homework at the kitchen table. "Dad, what's divorce mean?" My heart stopped. "Where did you hear that word, buddy?" Mom was talking on the phone. She said a lot. I sat beside him, choosing words carefully. Sometimes grown-ups decide they work better apart. But no matter what, both parents still love their kids. "Are you and Mom getting divorced?" "We're going through some changes," I said. "But you'll always be loved. That's what matters." He nodded, returning to his math. Kids are resilient. They survive what adults make complicated. That night, I locked the contracts in my safe. Everything was in place. My attorney looked at me. "Are you sure about filing the divorce before she announces?" "Completely," I said. "She wants a performance. I'll give her one." We sat in his office, divorce papers spread across the mahogany desk. Every line crafted carefully. Evidence of infidelity attached. Financial documents showing her fraud. A comprehensive case that would be hard to fight. "If we file now, she won't know until she's served," he explained. "But we could wait, see if she files first." "No, I want on record that I filed. With cause. Before whatever show she's planning." He studied me. You think she's planning something public? I know my wife. She doesn't just leave. She makes an exit. She'll want witnesses to her story. And you want to flip the script. I want the truth documented. When she tells everyone I'm the villain, the court records will say otherwise. We went through the custody arrangements. Primary custody requested for me, with evidence of her neglect. Nights, she chose Eric over bedtime stories. School events she missed for meetings. The fraud evidence is particularly damaging, he noted. She could face criminal charges. That's up to Carter Industries, I said. I just want my son safe and my assets protected. And her? What do you want for her? I thought about it. The woman I married was gone, replaced by someone I didn't recognize. Someone who could blow out her son's candles while planning to destroy his family. I want her to get exactly what she deserves, I said. Nothing more, nothing less. He filed the papers that afternoon. The clock started ticking. She'd be served the day after whatever performance she had planned. Sometimes the best revenge is just the truth, properly documented. She insisted on throwing Liam's 7th birthday party at home. Everyone will be there, she said. Family, neighbors, friends. She had no idea how right she was. Everyone would see who she really was. The party planning started a month before. Madison threw herself into it with unusual energy. We'll do a superhero theme, she announced. Rent a bounce house. Hire a face painter. Really go all out. That's expensive, I said, playing my part as the struggling business owner. Liam only turned 7 once, she said. Some things are worth splurging on. But I saw her real motivation in the guest list. Her sister, her parents, all our neighbors, friends from her company, even people we barely knew anymore. That's a lot of people for a kid's party, I observed. I wanted to be special, she said. But her eyes said something else. She wanted an audience. She bought a new dress for the occasion, got her hair done, arranged catering instead of our usual barbecue approach. Since when do we serve champagne at a 7-year-old's party? I asked, seeing the order. The adults should enjoy themselves too, she said. Every detail felt like a stage being set. She even insisted on a specific timeline. Cake at exactly 3 p.m. For the lighting, she claimed. I watched her prepare, knowing what she planned. This wasn't Liam's party. It was her farewell performance, designed for maximum impact. Invite your brother, she said. And that friend of yours, Tom. Everyone should be there. Everyone would be. She'd make sure of that. What she didn't know was that 40 witnesses would hear her abandon her child on his birthday. Sometimes people hand you the rope. You just have to let them use it. The night before the party, she kissed me goodnight. I almost laughed. Her phone buzzed beside her. Eric's name lit up. I let it ring, because by sunrise, her whole world would start collapsing. The house was decorated. Streamers hung from every surface. The bounce house dominated the backyard. Everything perfect for tomorrow's show. Madison stood in our bedroom, trying on her dress again. What do you think? Beautiful, I said truthfully. She'd never looked more like a stranger. She smiled, satisfied. I want tomorrow to be perfect. I'm sure it will be memorable. Her phone rang. Eric. She glanced at me, then declined the call. Probably about Monday's meeting. On a Friday night? You know how it is. Big presentation coming up. I didn't know how it was. I'd seen their text exchange an hour ago when she was in the shower. Can't wait for tomorrow. After you make the announcement, we can finally stop hiding. She thought she was being brave, taking control, making her grand exit on her terms. But across town, my lawyer had her divorce papers ready. Monday morning, she'd be served at the office she thought was her refuge. Carter Industries had their board meeting scheduled for Tuesday. The evidence would be presented. Vestatech would start their internal investigation by Wednesday. And Eric? He had no idea his career was about to implode alongside hers. Come to bed, she said, patting the space beside her. I lay down, listening to her breathe. 12 years of nights like this. Tomorrow would be the last. Mark? She whispered in the darkness. Yeah. Do you ever wonder what life would be like if we'd made different choices? Every choice leads somewhere, I said. We just have to live with where we end up. She was quiet after that, but her phone kept lighting up with messages she didn't check. Tomorrow, she'd make her choice. In front of everyone. And I'd be ready. Back to that moment. Her glass raised, that cruel smirk. When she said she was Done playing wife to a mechanic, my son started to cry. That was my line. I walked over, whispered in her ear. You just announced your freedom, but you also just quit your job. She blinked, confused. The party froze around us. Parents covered their children's ears. My mother clutched her chest. Tom started moving toward me, ready to prevent a scene. But I wasn't going to give them a scene. That was Madison's role today. What are you talking about? She hissed. Check your email Monday morning, I said calmly. After you're served. Her face went pale. Served? Divorce papers. Filed yesterday. Infidelity. Fraud. Abandonment. All documented. You can't. Already did. And Carter Industries is very interested in how you and Eric have been spending Vestateca's money. Her champagne glass shook. How did you? I'm just a mechanic, remember? We're good at seeing when things are broken. Liam was crying harder now. My sister Rebecca had scooped him up, taking him inside. Other parents were gathering their children, making excuses to leave. Madison's grand moment was crumbling. This wasn't the reaction she'd scripted. You set me up, she whispered. No, I said. You set yourself up. I just documented it. Her phone started buzzing, then ringing. Messages piling up, but not from Eric. From numbers she didn't recognize. The beginning of the end. I turned to address the remaining guests. I apologize for the disruption. Please, take some cake home. Liam would want you to enjoy it. People scattered quickly after that. Madison stood frozen, still holding her champagne. Her big announcement turned to ash in her mouth. The stage she'd set for her triumph had become her judgment day. 10 minutes later, her phone buzzed again. A notification. Urgent. Compliance review. Immediate suspension. Her smile faltered. She excused herself to take the call. I watched her leave the party mid-sentence, barefoot, phone shaking in her hand. She stumbled toward the house, nearly dropping her phone. Through the kitchen window, I could see her pacing, gesturing wildly. Tom approached me. You okay, man? Better than I've been in years. What was that about her job? Let's just say her company takes fraud seriously, especially when it involves executives. His eyes widened. You didn't. I didn't do anything. I just made sure the right people had the right information. Madison's voice carried through the window. What do you mean suspended? I have the Morrison presentation Monday. More pacing. More panic. Evidence? What evidence? This is insane. My mother-in-law appeared at my elbow. Mark, what's happening? The truth, I said. Finally. She wanted to say more, but Madison burst through the back door, face flushed, eyes wild. You, she pointed at me. You did this. You sent them something. I sent them the truth, I said calmly. Every receipt you forged. Every company dollar you spent on Eric. Every policy you violated. That's private. You had no right. Actually, once you used company resources, it became their business. I just helped them find out. She lunged at me, but Tom stepped between us. Madison, stop. There's still kids here. She looked around wildly, seeing the remaining guests watching her melt down. This wasn't in her script either. This isn't over, she spat. Actually, it is. It ended the moment you chose Eric over your family. Her phone rang again. This time, she didn't answer. We all knew who it was, and why he was calling. The queen had just lost her kingdom, and the king was about to lose his crown. Eric's company had been audited that morning. The file I gave Carter Industries had reached the board. Madison's forged approvals and Eric's transfers were now under legal review. She wasn't walking into a promotion. She was walking into termination. The audit had been swift and thorough. Carter Industries knew exactly where to look because I'd given them the map. Every transaction, every forged signature, every misused company resource. Madison's phone wouldn't stop ringing. She finally answered, moving away from the remaining guests. Eric, what do you mean you're suspended too? I couldn't hear his response, but I saw her face crumble further. They can't prove. What do you mean they have copies? The beauty of digital fraud, it leaves fingerprints everywhere. And I'd made sure to preserve every single one. Don't call me that, she suddenly screamed into the phone. This is your fault too. So the lovers were turning on each other. Predictable. She hung up and immediately tried calling someone else. Her boss, probably. Or HR. But it was Saturday afternoon. The decisions had been made. The emails sent. Monday would just be the formal execution. Madison, her mother approached carefully. Maybe we should go inside. Talk about this calmly. Calmly, Madison laughed, but it sounded like breaking glass. Do you know what he's done? He's destroyed everything. You destroyed everything, I corrected. I just made sure there were consequences. My career is over. You vindictive. Your career ended when you decided to steal from your company to fund your affair. I just helped them find out. She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. The mechanic she'd underestimated. The husband she'd betrayed. The man who'd quietly documented every lie while she was busy living them. How long have you known? She asked quietly. Long enough to protect myself and our son. That broke something in her. She sank into a patio chair, still in her party dress, still holding her phone like a lifeline to a world that no longer existed. The party was over, in more ways than one. She called Eric in tears. He didn't pick up. Then she checked LinkedIn. Eric's profile, former executive at Vestatech. He was gone too. For the first time in years, she looked small. Madison sat in our bedroom, laptop open, frantically refreshing pages. Her professional network was crumbling in real time. No, she muttered, clicking through profiles. Eric's update had triggered a cascade. Other Vestatech executives were distancing themselves. Connections were being severed. The digital equivalent of backs turning. Her phone rang. She answered desperately. Sheila? Thank God. Is Eric there? Even I could hear Sheila's bitter laugh through the speaker. Eric? You're looking for Eric? He's packing. I threw him out an hour ago. Thanks to you. This isn't my fault. Isn't it? You couldn't keep your hands off my husband. Now we're both getting divorced. Hope it was worth it. The line went dead. Madison stared at the phone like it had betrayed her too. Then she tried Eric again. Straight to voicemail. He blocked me, she whispered. He actually blocked me. The irony wasn't lost on me. The man she destroyed her family for had cut her off the moment things got difficult. True love, indeed. She scrolled through her contacts, making call after call, each one shorter than the last. Her network, built on Vestatech connections, was collapsing. No one wanted to be associated with the scandal. They're all acting like they don't know me, she said to herself. 5 years at that company. Fraud has a way of making people forget you, I said from the doorway. She looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. Did you plan this? All of it. I planned to protect myself and Liam. You planned everything else. For the first time in months, maybe years, I saw the woman I married. Vulnerable. Scared. Human. But it was too late for recognition. Too late for regret. The damage was done. By both of us. She tried to come home that night. Angry, defensive. This is still my house, Mark. I handed her the paperwork. Not anymore. You signed the transfer months ago when you wanted to streamline taxes. She read her own signature. Her knees buckled. The document was clear. Sole ownership transferred to Mark Caldwell. She'd been so eager to reduce her tax burden, thinking of the money she'd save for her new life with Eric. You tricked me, she said. I suggested we review it with a lawyer. You said it was a waste of money. I trusted you. Funny how trust works, isn't it? She sank onto the porch steps, still clutching the papers. The house she'd decorated, the home she'd planned to abandon, was no longer hers to leave. Where am I supposed to go? Eric's apartment, I assumed. Oh, wait. Sheila threw him out too. Don't be cruel. Cruel? I'm stating facts. You have family. Friends. Those people you invited to watch your grand exit. She looked at her phone. No messages. No offers of help. The audience she'd gathered had seen her true performance. I need clothes. My things. I've packed a bag. It's by the door. You can arrange to get the rest later. With supervision. Supervision? I'm not a criminal. Actually, depending on what Vestatech decides, you might be. Fraud is a crime, Madison. That silenced her. The weight of her choices finally landing. What about Liam? What about him? You announced you were leaving in the middle of his birthday party. You think he wants to see you right now. He's my son, who you were willing to traumatize for dramatic effect. The custody papers include that. 40 witnesses, remember? She stood up, swaying slightly. The champagne and shock making her unsteady. You won't get away with this. Get away with what? Protecting my son? Keeping my business? Staying in my home? That's not getting away with anything. That's just refusing to be a victim. I handed her the bag. Your sister called. You can stay with her. She took it numbly. The designer purse she'd bought with company rewards hanging from her shoulder. The car keys to the vehicle half in my name. I'll need the car, I said. How am I supposed to? Uber exists. Though I'd avoid charging it to the company card. She walked down the driveway, bag in hand, calling her sister. The same confident woman who'd raised a champagne glass 6 hours ago was now homeless, jobless, and partnerless. Behind me, Liam's voice called out, "Dad? Is Mom leaving?" I turned to face my son. "Yeah, buddy. She is. Is she coming back?" I knelt down to his level. "Not tonight, but we'll figure everything out, okay? You and me." He nodded, then hugged me tight. Over his shoulder, I watched Madison's silhouette disappear into her sister's car. The house felt different already. Lighter, like it could finally breathe again. Her mother called me, crying the next day. "Madison's lost everything. Can't you at least talk to her?" I said, gently. She already talked enough for both of us. Then hung up. Dorothy had always been kind to me. She'd welcomed me into the family, defended me when her country club friends questioned her daughter marrying a mechanic. But now she was trying to save what couldn't be saved. 20 minutes later, my phone rang again. Madison's father this time. "Mark, be reasonable. She made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. This was a campaign. She's staying with her sister, crying constantly. Can't you forgive?" "I can forgive. I just won't forget. And I won't let her hurt Liam again. You're keeping her son from her." "I'm protecting him from someone who announced she was abandoning him at his birthday party. The court will sort out visitation." He cursed and hung up. Then came the friends. People who'd been at the party, who'd witnessed everything, somehow trying to rewrite what they'd seen. "Maybe she didn't mean it that way," suggested Carla, Madison's college roommate. "Which part? Leaving me or humiliating our son?" "She was probably just emotional. She was calculated. The champagne, the audience, the timing. All planned." The calls kept coming, each one trying to minimize what had happened. Each one forgetting that 40 people had watched Madison choose cruelty. But the most interesting call came that evening. A number I didn't recognize. "Mr. Caldwell? This is Patricia Chun from Carter Industries. I wanted to personally thank you for the information you provided. The board was very interested. I hope it helps maintain ethical standards in the industry." "Oh, it will." Vestateca's stock is already responding to rumors of the investigation. "We expect significant market adjustments by week's end." So it had begun. Madison's professional bomb was sending shrapnel everywhere. "And Mr. Caldwell, your partnership agreement is ready for implementation whenever you're prepared." "Monday morning," I said. "I have some family matters to handle first." "Of course. We look forward to a long and profitable relationship." I hung up and checked on Liam. He was building Legos, creating something new from broken pieces, just like his dad. In court, she tried to play the victim. But the evidence, her infidelity, misuse of company funds, emotional neglect, was airtight. The judge awarded me full custody. Her face broke completely. The courtroom was smaller than I'd imagined. Just a judge, a court reporter, and 2 lives being officially separated. Madison had hired a lawyer with her sister's help. He tried his best with what he had to work with. "My client was under significant stress," he argued. "The announcement at the party was poorly timed, but not malicious. My lawyer simply played the video. Yes, someone had recorded it. Multiple someones, actually. Modern parties and cell phones." Madison's voice filled the courtroom. "I deserve more than a man who fixes car parts while I built our future." The judge's expression didn't change, but her eyes narrowed. Then came the evidence of infidelity. Emails, hotel receipts, the paper trail she'd thought was hidden. Hearsay, her lawyer tried. "These are her authenticated work emails," my lawyer countered, "obtained legally during the corporate investigation." Finally, the financial fraud. Vestateca's official report was damning. Criminal charges were being considered. "Your Honor," her lawyer pleaded, "my client has already lost her career. Surely losing her child, too." She announced she was leaving. The judge interrupted. "At the child's birthday party. In front of him. That shows remarkably poor judgment." Madison finally spoke. "I made a mistake, but I'm still his mother." "Yes," the judge agreed. which makes your actions even more concerning. Custody is awarded to Mr. Caldwell. Supervised visitation for Mrs. Caldwell, pending completion of parenting classes. Supervised? Madison gasped. You publicly traumatized your child. Until the court is satisfied you won't repeat such behavior, supervision is required. Madison turned to me, tears streaming. Please, don't do this. But I just looked at my lawyer. We'd won. More importantly, Liam was protected. As we left the courthouse, Madison's lawyer was already explaining appeal options she couldn't afford. Sometimes justice doesn't feel like victory. It just feels like the end of something that should have ended long ago. After the hearing, she cornered me in the hallway. Was this your plan all along? No, I said. My plan was to build a life with you. You just built something else instead. She had no response. The courthouse hallway echoed with our footsteps, her heels clicking desperately as she tried to keep up with me. Mark, wait. Please. I stopped, turned. She looked smaller in the fluorescent lights. Designer dress replaced by a borrowed suit. Professional makeup gone, leaving just the woman I'd once loved. I know I hurt you, she said. I know I made mistakes. But this, taking everything, it's too much. I didn't take anything. You gave it all away. I gave up my marriage. Fine. But my job? My son? My home? You committed fraud. That cost you the job. You traumatized our child in public. That cost you custody. You signed the house over. That was your choice. You manipulated me. I protected myself. There's a difference. She leaned against the wall, exhausted. What am I supposed to do now? Rebuild. Like I had to rebuild after discovering your affair. Like Liam has to rebuild after his mother announced she was leaving him. I wasn't leaving him. I was leaving you. In his world, there's no difference. We were his family. You broke that. A court officer walked by, eyeing us. Madison straightened up, trying to salvage some dignity. Eric won't even talk to me. Neither will I after today. All communication goes through lawyers. We were married for 12 years, Mark. Doesn't that count for something? It counted for everything. Until you decided it counted for nothing. I walked away then. Her footsteps didn't follow. When I reached the elevator, I glanced back. She was still standing there, holding her phone, scrolling through contacts for someone who'd answer. The elevator doors closed on that image. Madison alone in a hallway she'd put herself in. Months later, Carter Industries sent me my first dividend check. It was more than Madison's yearly salary used to be. I didn't smile, just folded it into a drawer. Because real revenge isn't about winning. It's about peace. The check came on a Tuesday. An ordinary morning with extraordinary numbers. The partnership was exceeding all projections. Miguel knocked on my office door. Boss, the new contracts are here for review. Thanks. How's the team handling the expansion? Better than expected. That training program Carter set up is solid. I'd insisted on keeping my employees. Carter honored that, even giving them better benefits than I could have alone. And the new routes? Smooth as silk. Turns out having corporate backing opens doors. It did. Doors Madison had always said were closed to just a mechanic. That evening, I picked up Liam from school. He was excited about a science project, building a simple motor. Dad, can you help? You know all about engines. Sure, buddy. We'll make the best motor in class. At home, we worked at the kitchen table. The same table where Madison had planned her escape. Now it held copper wire and batteries and my son's eager questions. Dad, are you happy? The question surprised me. Yeah, I am. What? You smile more now. And you're home for dinner every night. He was right. The business ran itself mostly with Carter's systems in place. I had time now. Time for him. Time for myself. What about you? I asked. Are you happy? He considered this seriously. I miss Mom sometimes, but I like our new normal. Our new normal. Pizza Fridays. Building projects. Bedtime stories without rushing. A life built on presence, not pretense. The dividend check stayed in the drawer. Proof of success I didn't need to display. Because the real wealth was across the table, carefully wrapping wire around a nail, tongue out in concentration. There! Liam exclaimed as the motor spun. We did it. We did. We really did. I saw her once at a grocery store. Hair messy, no makeup, eyes hollow. She avoided me, pushing a cart that looked too heavy for one person. I didn't feel anger, just closure. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was grabbing ingredients for dinner. Liam had requested homemade burgers. The store was busy with weekend shoppers. Then I saw her by the frozen foods. Madison looked different. The polished executive was gone. Faded jeans, an old college sweatshirt, hair in a ponytail that had seen better days. She moved slowly, checking prices on everything. Our eyes met across the aisle. Her hand froze, reaching for something. I could have walked away, pretended not to see, but we live in the same town. This would happen again. I nodded. Simple acknowledgement. She looked like she might cry, or run, or both. Her cart held generic brands. Sales items. The careful shopping of someone counting pennies. A far cry from the woman who used to buy organic everything without checking tags. She abandoned her cart and hurried toward the checkout. I let her go. At the deli counter, waiting for hamburger meat, Tom appeared beside me. Was that Madison? Yeah, she looks rough. She's had a rough year. I heard she's working a call center, customer service, or something. From senior management to headsets and scripts. Pride had a long way to fall. Feel bad for her? Tom asked. I thought about it. I feel nothing. It's like looking at a stranger who reminds me of someone I used to know. That's probably healthy. Maybe it was. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And standing there, waiting for ground beef, I realized I'd reached it. Later, making burgers with Liam, I thought about that hollow look in her eyes. She'd gotten everything she'd said she wanted. Freedom from mechanic. A new life. Just not the way she planned it. Dad, these are perfect, Liam said, biting into his burger. Just the right amount of everything, I agreed. And that's all anyone really needs. Just the right amount of everything that matters. 1 year later, Liam blew out his candles again. No champagne, no audience, just laughter and cake on his nose. He looked up at me and said, Daddy, are you happy now? I smiled. Yeah, buddy, I finally am. Because sometimes the best revenge is simply never needing to prove yourself again. The 8th birthday party was smaller. Tom and his family, my sister Rebecca, a few of Liam's school friends. The bounce house was back by popular demand. No caterers this time. I grilled hot dogs and hamburgers. Rebecca made her famous potato salad. Tom's wife brought a cake from the grocery store that said, Happy 8th, Liam, in Spider-Man colors. Make a wish, everyone shouted. Liam closed his eyes tight, then blew with all his might. 8 candles out in one breath. What did you wish for? His friend Alex asked. Can't tell, or it won't come true, Liam said wisely. We ate cake with our hands getting sticky. Kids ran screaming through the sprinkler. Parents sat in lawn chairs, talking about normal things. No drama, no announcements, just life. Remember last year? Tom said quietly, sipping a beer. Different party, I said. Different life. It was. The house was the same, but it felt like home now. No walking on eggshells. No wondering what mood would walk through the door. Just peace. Liam ran up, soaking wet. Dad, come play. You sure? Yeah, you're the best at water tag. I let him drag me toward the sprinkler. Other kids cheered as I got drenched immediately. Got you. Liam laughed, tagging me and running. I chased him, both of us slipping on wet grass, laughing like maniacs. This was what he'd remember. Not the drama of last year, but the joy of this one. Later, as parents collected tired, happy kids, Liam helped me clean up. This was the best birthday ever, he said. Better than last year's? He thought about it. Last year was weird. This year was fun. Kids have a way of cutting through to truth. That night, after bedtime stories and goodnight kisses, I sat on the back porch. The same porch where Madison had made her announcement. Now it just held the echoes of children's laughter. My phone buzzed. An email from Patricia at Carter Industries. Another successful quarter. Another partnership opportunity. I deleted it without responding. Tomorrow's business could wait. Tonight, I was just a dad whose son had a good birthday. A man who'd learned the difference between success and happiness. The string lights still hung overhead, but they lit a different story now. One without villains or victims. Just a father and son building something new from what remained. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything.